Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we are going to paint this black Templar Chaplain. This is a miniature that I made from different kits, so if you want to check how I made this Chaplain, I will leave the link in the description. The first thing that I would like to do is to make the base a little bit more interesting, and that's why I'm going to cut a little bit of this sprue and glue it to the base. Now that the glue is dry, we can proceed to prime the miniature, and for that I would like to use Chaos Black from Citadel. Miniature primed, and now I would like to use Astro Granite to cover the base of this Chaplain. This miniature is ready to be painted, and I'm going to start by applying a thin layer of Abaddon Black on the black power armor. And now I'm going to use Corn Red to paint the outside robes, all the purity seals and also the weapon. I would like to paint the eyes with this color as well, but that's something that I'm going to do later. The next color that I would like to use is Morphan Brown, and I would like to use it to paint this wooden box, the pouches, straps, and also this book and the holster of the pistol. In the end, I changed my mind, something that happens quite often lately, and I decided that I'm going to keep the book in this color because I think that it's going to look nicer. And now I would like to continue painting the miniature, and for that I'm going to use Dawnstone. This is a light grey, and I'm going to apply this color to all the areas that later will be white. Because of course we're going to have a nicer white color if in the transition from the black primer to the white paint we add a light grey like this one. I would like to start painting the metallic elements, and for that I'm going to use Iron Warriors. I'm going to paint things like, for example, all the chains, these elements around the waist, the weapon, and also the shoulder pads. And now I would like to use Balthasar Gold to paint the remaining metallic elements. To finish with the base colors, now I would like to use Wraithbone to paint the skulls, the purity seals, and also this pattern on the inner robe that we can see there. My initial idea was to paint these symbols with metallic colors and then add the highlights with more metallic colors, but in the end I decided to add white because I think that like that is much more noticeable and I think that it looks a little bit nicer. And now that we finished with the base colors, I would like to start applying some shades. So first I'm going to use Null Oil and I will apply this shade to the weapon. And after that I would like to use Agrax Air Shade and I will apply this one to the brown color, the gold color and also all the purity seals. I forgot to mention it, but I also added a little bit of Agrax Air Shade to this skull and I added a little bit of Null Oil to this one to enhance a little bit more all those shadows. Now that we finish with the shades, we can start with the highlights and I would like to do the power armor first. I'm going to highlight the black parts of the power armor with Lead Belcher and then I'm going to highlight with Stormhost Silver everything that I previously painted with Iron Warriors. When I was assembling this miniature, one of my biggest issues was that I was not super happy with how the chest used to look, but now just by adding some silver lines there, it looks much better, much more interesting. I mean, if I look too close to it, yes, it's not super nice, but from this distance, I like a lot how it looks. At least like this, I can say that it looks much more like a Chaplain, and that's good, of course. And now I would like to continue highlighting the metallic colors, so I will proceed to highlight the gold, and for that I'm going to use Retributor Armor. And now I'm going to highlight the red color using Evil Sun Scarlet, but first I'm going to use again Corn Red to paint the eyes of this Chaplain. To continue with the highlights, now I would like to use crack brown, which I'm going to use to highlight the brown color, of course, and then I'm going to use wraith bone to highlight the skulls, the purity seals, and also to correct a little bit the symbols that we have around. Now I would like to paint the smoke in the back, and for that I will try to keep it as simple as possible. I will have the darker colors on the outside and the lighter ones closer to the sphere, and I'm going to use Eshin Grey, then I would like to use Dawnstone, and finally I will give a touch of Corax White. Of course, another option is just to mix black and white in different proportions, but I have this grey, so I will use them. We are almost there. Now I would like to use Abaddon Black to decorate all the purity seals and also to make some nice shadows on the base. And after that I'm going to use Wraith Bone and dry brush it all over the base. And this is it, this is the final result, this is my Black Templar Chaplain. I have to admit that at this moment I'm feeling extremely happy because, of course, when you are doing a kitbashing or you're trying to make your own unique miniature, you have something in mind but you never know how it's going to look at the end, and now that I look at this Chaplain, I'm extremely happy. And as always, I would like to remind you that if you like what I do, you would like to support my work and continue to help me improve, I invite you to check the link to my Patreon in the description. And obviously, I invite you to let me know in the comments what you think about this Chaplain, because of course, as always, I care a lot about your opinion. I think that what I like the most about this Chaplain is that it feels very natural. It doesn't feel like a kitbashing to me. I mean, I left the main body and even the arms. I just changed the hands, but they suit perfectly the vibe, and I like a lot because they also suit the pose nicely. When I look it from any angle, it's like, it feels like it's made like that on purpose. And I like the head a lot. Of course, it's one of my favorite Chaplain heads. Maybe it's weird that I have some Dark Angel symbols like this sword, but it's like a sword. It shouldn't be that noticeable. Maybe this one is much more noticeable. I try to make darker the inside, so like that it's like it's not gathering that much attention. But I don't know, I felt like it was okay to leave it there to remind myself which kit this Chaplain came from. If you know me already, you know that I don't do the highlights of the Black Templars like this, but this was a Chaplain and I wanted to have something different, so of course I decided to go for these metallic highlights and also this silver color for the shoulder pads, because I think that like that it looks nicer and it looks much more interesting. I didn't want it to have the same, so I'm okay with that. The white cross on the black background is part of the lore, I think, so that's quite accurate. And yes, I also added the red robes. because I think that like that it's going to be also much more different. Grimaldus has red on him, so I'm going to do red for all my chaplains, and like that I think that they are more unique, because if I do other Black Templars I'm going to have like white robes. So yes, I think that like that with this red color it's going to be nicer, and I think that it suits a lot the chaplain and the vibe, and I like the colors. I think that if it was white it will be a little bit more boring. With the weapon, at first I thought about doing it gold or gold with white, how it was before I removed the paint. But then I will have 3 gold elements next to each other, and that's why I went directly for this metal color, because it also suits the chaplain by itself. I mean, for me the halo needed to be gold, because I like it like that and it feels nicer. And this thing in the back, it has kind of like the same vibe. So for me it was okay for both of them being gold, so in the end this was the one that needed to be changed. I tried to add some gold elements, but still I think that it suits quite nicely the color scheme. I think that they also made the right choice with this book being black, because yes, even if it's going to be the same color scheme as the chaplain, here it's on the red robes, so yes, it's a little bit more different. So I'm okay with that. I like the final result, and with the base I just did the same that I'm doing with my Black Templars lately. And before I finish, I have to mention the chest, because it was a part that I was the most insecure about. To me right now it's good enough. I mean, if we look closer, it looks not super nice, because of course I was not able to make like a nice smooth chest, so I'm not able to make nice regular lines, so it looks a little bit messy if we look too close at it. But from this distance I think that it looks okay, and I'm happy. I think that it's good enough and it doesn't look bad, and I think that it also suits into the vibe of the chaplain. Maybe this side is a little bit better than this one, but of course, as I mentioned, the surface is not the best to paint. It was very difficult to me to make it nicely, and thankfully this part is more covered, so I think it's not that bad. And with all of that being said, this is the end of the video. This was my chaplain that I made from the Inner Circle Companion of the Dark Angels. And of course, as always, if you are still here, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.